Okay, as promised, my pal, Virginia Kruta from IJR is back. And you had to come back for a couple of different reasons. Because we were talking off air, you guys, before we came on, Virginia and I, about I told her what I said at the top of the hour, how I'm having more fun, as Limbaugh says, than a human being should be allowed to have today. And Virginia said, you had it last night during the debate. And I said, maybe I'm just having a happy hangover. Was that too much fun or what?
Oh, I was laughing the whole time.
Oh, man.
It reminded me of the first Obama-Romney debate. When Romney was saying, I have 5 boys, I'm used to people saying things, thinking that if they repeat something enough times, I'll believe that it's true.
Yeah.
Just like there was so much going on. And we're just getting ready to publish something on one of the things that happened in the debate last night.
Was that the headline we were talking about? The headline we were talking about?
Hillary Clinton tries to fact check Donald Trump, except for her fact check is minus a few things, namely facts.
Facts.
Right. So, just the little stuff. It was great.
You know what else she does? I talked about this in the first segment. She's done this forever, and it doesn't matter if it's in a debate or it's when she's in an interview. When she did first of all, everything he just said is false. And it was everything he just said, by and large, was completely true. She does that in interviews. George, first of all, that's not correct. That has been a Hillary tactic for years.
Well, yeah. She has to, because she's got to set up for the fact that she's about to tell you something completely different.
And she also knows that people like Martha Raddatz aren't going to challenge her.
No.
So on the Syrian red line thing,
yeah,
she claimed that, as I recall, I wasn't part of that. Was she talking about like she was out with her fall?
Well, no, she said, no.
In on that, because I can't remember the time sequence.
He said that she was a part of the whole Syrian red line. Like, right. we put the line in the sand, right, and then Syria crosses it, and then we don't do anything.
Right.
And he said she was a part of that, and she said I was gone.
Where was she gone?
Basically, well, she was saying that she had left as Secretary of State. She was no longer Secretary of State.
By then. Okay, yeah.
But then PolitiFact went through it, and they're like, okay, August 2012 is when Obama he did the red line comment. That's when it first came out. Right. Basically, there's a line in the sand, and if you cross it, blah blah blah.
Right.
Okay, right. So Hillary first mentions the red line in December of 2012. She's at a summit in Prague. And then she mentions it again in January 2013. The red line, and if Syria does this, they're going to have to answer to the United States, et cetera, et cetera. Well, then in February 2013, she steps down as Secretary of State. The deal with Russia that removes, then August of 2013. So this part is after she stepped down as Secretary of State, but I'm getting to the good part. August 2013, we get credible information that Syria has deployed chemical weapons.
Right.
Okay. And then you have the deal with Russia where we take away Syria's chemical weapons. And we don't actually fire a shot.
That's right. And trust them to Vladimir Putin to dispose of.
Right. And, but then on September 9th, which is after this deal is made, mm-hmm. Hillary speaks publicly about the deal with Russia, endorses the White House's position on the deal with Russia and the fact that they didn't fire a shot. And it comes out that she spoke to President Obama earlier that same day and had been meeting with top-level officials for a week prior.
Do you think she just is a sociopath that believes her lies, or do you think I'm going to pick B before I announce what B is? But do you think she just knows she's lying her ass off, but also knows A, that she won't be challenged on it by most liberal sock puppet media types, and to B, her people won't care anyway or know the difference?
I think it's more the latter, that she knows. I don't think there's any question that she knows she's being dishonest.
Yeah, exactly. Like she, who would forget if they landed under sniper fire or not, right?
Brian Williams.
Well, that's true. Yes. Hillary and I.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to give, she has balls. I mean, she's brass ones. And that condescension, I just, anyway,
Yeah.
So, all right. So how would you have scored it? I mean,
well, PolitiFact gave her mostly false because they said basically there was one nugget of truth in there, being that she wasn't actually Secretary of State when Syria crossed the line.
Yeah.
But there was so much information missing that you could tell it was designed to be misleading.
Yeah. Isn't that classic Clinton? It depends on what your definition of is.
Right.
That's how they. I mean, you know what? That's who they are and what they do. Okay, so
I wonder if she taught him or if he taught her.
You know what? I mean, maybe they're just. I don't know. They're just meant to be together.
Right.
But
oh Lord.
Oh, Lord is exactly right. So, all right. So just kind of the debate in total. How would you score it? I mean, who won? Was it a draw? I mean, how did you see it?
Well, as far as points scored, I would say it was probably a draw. Yeah. But because it was a draw, Trump wins.
Well, that's what and I wrote this last night on Facebook. I said, I got 3 bottom lines. The debate was a draw. Number 2, Trump wins by not losing. Number 3, right. It makes zero difference as it relates to what happens 29 days from today.
Probably, yeah. And I think you're right about that.
And he would look, if he did anything short of throwing up on his shoes last night, he was going to win. Because if he
well, I mean, and I think it was Jake Tapper who said it right after the debate was over. Basically, Trump wins because at the end of the debate, we're not talking about the tape.
That was said several times. Charles Krauthammer made the same point, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, because that's all that was being talked about.
Well, and I noticed that too at the beginning. I was like, there was one point, maybe even just 10, 15 minutes into the debate where Trump was outlining Hillary's failed policies, and he was doing a coherent and very well structured job of it.
Who argued? What have you done with Donald Trump?
Right. And then Raddatz interrupts him, and he's like, I'd like to finish, and she's like, no, we need to take questions from the audience. And then she takes a second question about the tape. I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is you'd like to derail him so that we can go back to talking about a point you can win.
Martha Raddatz made Candy Crowley look like a piker. I mean, and that's saying a lot, right?
Right.
Because when Trump was skewering Hillary, rightly so, over the Obama's administration, its penchant for announcing military moves in advance. It announces when we're leaving. Makes it part of his campaign promise in 2008 when troops will be withdrawn from Iraq, later announces when troops will be withdrawn from Afghanistan. And last night, I believe Trump was referencing like the Iraqi military announcing when it was going to attack Mosul. And he was talking about how ridiculous that was. And then she starts arguing with him. Well, under certain circumstances or whatever she said. I mean, that's, I'm thinking, I just said to my wife, who's a Democrat, believe it or not, I was like, I can't even believe it, but of course I could believe it.
Well, I spent 10 years in the military. I did not deploy, but I have many, many friends who were involved in higher level stuff than I was. I was a medic, so I didn't do a whole lot of...
Were you in the Army?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't privy to a lot of classified information or strategy, But I'm not stupid. If you want to win, the element of surprise is like 90% of the battle. You don't tell people what you're going to do.
Yeah, Eisenhower on 30 days from now, we're going to invade Normandy and get the Nazis. Come on. Yeah. So, what?
Hey, you in the red, we're going to cross the Delaware at 6 a.m.? No.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah. Wink, wink. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, and Trump said last night, he referenced MacArthur
right.
and who else? I forget the other general, a couple of generals. I don't know if he said Eisenhower or not, but these people would be spinning in their graves if they knew. And the military has fought Obama along the way. And as I'm sure you're aware, I mean, he's dismissed half of people that disagreed with him.
Right. Well, I have my own opinions on that, but we stopped winning foreign wars when Truman fired MacArthur.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Because MacArthur wanted to wage total war, and Truman wouldn't let him. He was a little gun shy after dropping the atomic bombs, and I don't blame him. I mean, that weighs on somebody making a decision like that. It was the right decision, but it weighs on you. And he didn't have the stomach for it after that, and he refused to let MacArthur do what could have helped.
And it continued into Korea, and it really went full-blown bloom in Vietnam. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was what Limbaugh said years ago, and I always thought this is brilliant, but the purpose of war is to kill people and break things. And if you don't do that until you win, then you have wasted lives, treasure and
right.
Blood and treasure, as they say. Yeah. So again, I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Well, and actually, that's why I was for Ted Cruz at the beginning. Rick Perry, I think first, because I've met the guy and spoken to him, and just I really appreciate how much he loves this country. And then Ted Cruz was the only one who was talking about the rules of engagement and the fact that we are consigning our military to and sending them out to fight battles they're not allowed to win.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
can you think about it? There are 22 military and veteran suicides a day. Do you want to know why that is? Because we're sending them out, we're putting them at risk, we're letting them know, hey, by the way, they're allowed to kill you. You're not allowed to touch them till you make 3 phone calls and get this signed in triplicate.
That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly. You got to radio someone, and then they got to check, and then by that time your ass is dead.
Exactly. And so that was a big deal for me that somebody was talking about that.
By the way, I told Jessica, and I laughed out loud actually when on Slack, I don't know what we had going on in the random thing or whatever, and you said, this is you, quote, I said asshat and jackhole on live radio. That's why Mike likes me. And I thought that was really outstanding. I thought when you went there, I thought, oh my God, this is like my kindred soul. She will fit right in here. All right. So speaking of kindred souls, let's tie some things together.
Okay.
This video, one of the more, what shall we say, graphic comments that Donald Trump made in 2005 about women,
yes,
was where he was going to grab them in the general genital area, used a different word. All right, so you wrote an outstanding post. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was last night. It was during the debate because she actually showed up in the debate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it had to be yesterday. Okay, so just lay this whole thing out for people, and you can go there. Yeah, just
okay. So, and the way I'm saying it, it's not really.
Well,
anyway.
No. What do you?
So, and it's the technical term too. Now people are really curious, right?
This is.
Where's this going?
This is the technical. This is the actual name of the blouse.
Okay, so Melania Trump walks into the debate, and all of a sudden Twitter lights up because she is wearing a blouse that has this giant bow that ties at the neck. It's really popular in the 70s and the 80s.
And it's referred to as?
It was originally referred to as a pussycat bow, and it has been shortened to the pussy bow.
That's right.
Okay, and so she is wearing a bright fuchsia pussy bow as she walks in with her husband, who has just been outed for using that term in a very derogatory manner.
Context, yes.
Right, and so Twitter is all like, "Oh, Melania Trump is trolling hard," and a spokesman for the Trump campaign later said that it was unintentional, and that's just what she chose to wear. But it was so well timed that it almost couldn't have been an accident. And I got hate mail about that.
Tell me about that first. And
then a ton. Oh, people were telling me that's very insulting that you would say that about her blouse. And I'm like, I didn't say it. That's actually the name of the blouse on the website. And Kate Bennett, also at our IJR, our correspondent in the White House, she was the one who first posted the picture of the actual blouse Melania was wearing. It's a Gucci blouse, and it was posted.
It's from a catalog or something, or a website, right?
It was from an online catalog.
Yeah.
And it actually was called the Pussy Silk blouse. That's what it was. And they're like, well, you're being derogatory and you're saying mean things about Melania Trump. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not saying anything about her. I'm making fun of the other people who are saying stuff about this. Yeah. There's a big difference, and I got called a hack and everything else. It's great.
Yeah. Well, Trump-a-Loompas are extremely thin-skinned and sensitive, like you know who.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. So here's the question. Let's assume that this was purposely done.
Okay.
All right. So then the obvious question is, whose idea was it? Donald Trump's not that smart. Melania knows fashion. Mm-hmm. So do you think Melania did it? Do you think that someone that's as devious as you and I are and would say, "Oh, Melania, you got it"? I mean, what would you just guess? I mean,
I think if it was intentional,
yeah,
either Melania did it herself or Ivanka pushed her.
Do you? Whoa, I didn't think about that. Because Ivanka's
the fashionista and the Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So then if that happened, let's assume that it was intentional and that one or two or both of them are behind this delicious, it's just too perfect, subtle response. Did they tell the Donald, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he would have been able to keep a straight face if they had.
Well, see, he should be able to have plausible deniability.
Right. I had no idea what they were planning. What?
Yes, I don't. The what?
Right.
Yeah. Aren't you just having too much fun?
You know what's funny? And I actually went over to. I live 15-20 minutes from Washington University, and I went over there yesterday. Yeah. And I was walking around. We couldn't get on campus because you had to have either a student ID or credentials to get on the campus. And we didn't have any of that. So we were walking around and talking to the protesters who were also, across the street. And everybody was pretty polite. And there were, nobody was yelling at each other, and which was pretty impressive. I mean, there were some pretty nasty things written on signs. But it was a little bit of everything. There was some anti-police signs. It was like an all-purpose protest, show up, have fun, right? And so we talked to a couple people, and I spoke to 3 or 4 people who were out there for Jill Stein, a handful of people who were out there for Hillary Clinton. I didn't see anybody for Johnson. And then there were 4 or 5 guys that were wearing Trump signs, and they were all under 20. These were all young kids that were with the Trump stuff. And I will tell you, the only ones who could answer a question coherently were the Trump supporters.
Really?
I was impressed. Yeah. Well, one of the Jill Stein people was rambling on about rare earth metals and something, and I'm not really even sure what he was talking about. Then there was another girl who was saying, her sign said, "Vote Jill Stein, the only non-rapist on the ballot." And I asked her, I said, so when did Gary Johnson get accused of rape? And she's like, "Oh, he doesn't count. He doesn't know where Aleppo is." I'm like, you realize he's polling at twice what your girl is, right?
I do love that kind of stuff.
I'm just saying. And she was funny. And then there was it was hard hats for Hillary. And I think that maybe this woman had forgotten her hard hat at least once or twice, because when I asked her what was the most important thing they were going to talk about in the debate. She's like, "Oh, the economy." Okay, so Hillary's going to fix that. Yeah, she's going to create jobs. Okay, how? Well, she's going to put America back to work. I'm like,
no, but
so what you're saying is that you got your answers from Trump's crib sheets 6 months ago?
That's right. Plus, it's evil of you to ask specifics of a liberal.
Oh, right. Well, there was another white lady who was wearing a Hillary Clinton dress, which was really kind of terrifying because it was like Hillary's giant head on this. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Hillary doesn't wear dresses. Okay, so now I get it. Hillary's
no, a dress with Hillary on it. It was worse than.
Yeah, I got it.
And I asked her the same question, what's the most important thing they're going to talk about? And she says, global warming. And I said, really? And she says, yes, because we don't have a planet 2. Like plan 1 and plan 2.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to save this planet, because if it's not safe for animals to live on, then it won't be safe for us either, because we're animals too. I'm like, okay.
Save the environment, kill yourself. Does it ever bother you that these people, and worse, their votes are equal to yours? I mean,
oh yeah. All I'm going to say is that I think that there was a very good reason that when the founders implemented the requirements for voting, you had to have skin in the game.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a pessimist of late, at least. I mean, I think by and large, most elections these days, unlike back in the day, well, I don't know that part's even true, but I think by and large that, as Rush calls them, low information voters, which does not necessarily mean, as you know, Virginia, does not necessarily mean stupid. There are people who are willfully, that are very intelligent,
right.
liberal elites, right? Willfully ignorant. But I think by and large, low information voters who have no idea how their person is going to do what they say they're going to do, or even if they know what their person says they're going to do, I think by and large they decide elections.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, because my mom actually called me today and was asking me what I had heard about the Republican ticket trying to replace Trump, because my mom has always been conservative, and I think when it comes down to it, she will probably vote for Trump because she can't stand Hillary, and she won't vote third party, but she's having a really, really hard time stomaching Trump, and she really wants there to be another option.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I wrote something about that either yesterday.
No, I did too.
Happen. It can't happen. Yeah, you did. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, in theory, they could replace him, but there so many things would happen afterward necessarily.
And there's a lot of stuff that would have to happen. They can't just I'm out and Pence is automatically in. It doesn't happen that way. Okay, we're under 2 minutes. We really have a lot of fun when you come on the show. All right, so they follow you on IJR, and I'm going to ask you, say it again. Twitter, what's your Twitter deal?
VA Kruta. It's VAKRUTA.
All right, so take care of your what do you have, a cold from your kids?
Yeah, Petri dishes, but we like them.
Yeah, little Petri dishes. All right, man. We'll talk again soon.
All right.
See you. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay. We liked Virginia Kruta. You're about to type something to me as we speak. Jessica, are we under 30 seconds?
Almost 30 seconds.
All right, so remind me on Wednesday. Of course, you'll look it up between now and then, but we should talk about it anyway, about the legitimate, serious, I mean, it's kind of oxymoronic, Washington Post fear that people are putting sexist Halloween costumes on their pets. Guys, we'll leave you to ponder that between now and the next couple of days. We've had a good time today. We hope you have as well. Come back, see us Wednesday. Tell your friends. Bye.